Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I am having, it's a meditation day. I am having such a fantastic day today. I got up, I did my prayers, my meditations, and all of that kind of stuff. I got up early today too. And then I went and I had my very first personal training appointment. I was very nervous about going to that. If you want to hear all about it, go check out my vlog. And then I came home and I was like, I'm gonna make my videos early. My husband is going to Chicago to go for a concert with some friends. And I was like, I'm just hanging out with the dogs tonight. So I am going to make a real healthy dinner, and I lit my candle waxes. I wanted to show this on here, I don't know why. But I am, the house currently smells, because I have 2 candle wax burners going. See, 2 of them are gone. The Febreze fresh pressed apple. They're not like my favorite. I know this is not a review channel. They're not my favorite wax melts in the world, but they're really, really strong. And then I made myself a little cup of Tezo chai, and it's time to relax and read a meditation. So grab some tea, grab some water, grab some coffee, whatever you do, hang out in bed, you know, pull up the comforter or the blanket, the weighted blanket. I want one of those weighted blankets so bad, I want to check them out. And we are going to read the meditation actually from yesterday, because I did this video yesterday. I thought I had uploaded it to my computer and I didn't, and then I deleted it off my memory card. So I'm rereading this meditation from yesterday. I thought it was such a fantastic meditation, and I really personally related to it as well. So I want to read it today, and then I'm going to just talk a little bit about it after that. Today's meditation is called, or yesterday's meditation is called, You're Almost Home. I only had a few hundred miles to go, but the stretch ahead seemed endless. I was tired and near the end of this adventure. I remembered the meditative words of a friend, words that had helped me several years ago, words that had helped me again now. The life force is a force within you. You have the power to fire it, stoke it, expand its energy throughout your body. Don't clench up, tighten up. That limits the life force within you. Stop cramping your muscles and telling yourself you can't. If you say it long and loud enough, you'll begin to believe it. Relax. Relax your arms, your legs, your neck, your body. You've come so far. Look back at all the miles you've traveled. What lies ahead is a small portion, such a small portion of that. Breathe deeply. When you become afraid or tired, your breathing becomes shallow. That inhibits the fire. It keeps the life force from reaching your muscles, your vital organs, your brain. Breathe deeply. Stoke the fire within. Take a moment now to picture that core of light within you. See it in your solar plexus just inches below your navel. Picture it as a glowing coal, a candle, a flame. With each breath you take, picture the flame getting stronger, glowing more brightly, until you feel the vital life force begin to surge through you. Feel yourself being filled with healing, life-giving energy with each breath you take. Feel the flame burn more brightly within you. Inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Feel your power spread through your body. Feel the power of the universe come in through your breath. Feel that power connect with and flame the burning coal of energy that is within you. You've come so far. You've almost mastered that lesson, accomplished that task, unveiled that insight, the one you've been struggling with. Of course you're tired. You've been working hard. Take a moment now to light the fire within you. Let it give you the energy you need. Don't stop now. You're almost home. And I love that meditation so much because, you know, I talk on here a lot about, you know, learning lessons and that things in life present themselves, and there's always like a teaching moment, a learning lesson. You know, I talk about remaining teachable, and that I always try to do that in my life and look at the things that, you know, I do and the things that have happened to me, and I try to learn from those, you know, situations, because I always want to be a better person and grow on a regular basis, you know. But often in life, even when, like I say, you know, when you're in the middle of the biggest tragedy, you know, look up and say thank you, because you're about to learn a very valuable lesson. I quote that from Maya Angelou. Even though I believe all of that, you know, there are times when you are just going through just really hard stuff, right? And you're like, okay, if you're a spiritual person, or even if you're not a spiritual person and you believe that, you know, maybe there's meaning to all this or something to be taken from this, or that there's a lesson at the end of it, have you ever just like gone on and on and on, and it's like, my God, how much, you know, like how long can I do this for, right? And if you are a spiritual person, sometimes we even start losing faith a little bit. Like, you know, are my prayers going unanswered? You know, am I ever going to get out of this? Like, is this, you know, am I ever going to learn the lesson I'm supposed to? What is the lesson? And if I learned it, would I know it? You know, and so sometimes it's like a real struggle, because you're sitting there and you're like, God, I don't ever know when I'm going to be at the end of my road, or not the end of my road, but the end of the road of learning this lesson. Will I know it when I'm there? What is the lesson? You know, please give me a clue. I think the truth is, we don't often know the lesson until, you know, after we've learned it. And so it might be past the lesson that we look back and we go, oh, that was the lesson, right? At least that's how it's happened a lot for me in my life. I have a sip of my tea since I made this tea. I don't want it to go cold. I love these mugs. We got these at Crate and Barrel. But I think that, you know, we often don't know the lesson until after we look back on it and we've learned the lesson, so to speak. And so I think, you know, when you're going through it, you don't know. And it's like sometimes when you're going on a road trip, it's like, you know, the miles go by, the miles go by, the miles go by. It's like, you know, okay, for me, I talked about this on my vlog. We used to drive back and forth to Florida every spring. We would drive down to Miami and back. It's a really long drive. It's like 20 hours, okay? And I love road trips, but my husband does not. But on the way back, you know, we drove it straight through there, straight through back. And on the way back, you know, I would drive it straight through. And we would always stop at this like town in Tennessee. And like the first year that we stopped there, it's just like this little small town. We would stop at Steak and Shake, you know? And we would go in there, and I remember the first year we were like, it was like, it had been warm and then it was cold, so we like changed in the parking lot into our sweatpants and our shirts, and we went inside and we got chili and, you know, the Frisco burgers, and we're sitting there, and there was like all these other people that were sitting there, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, they are all gonna like go home and be cozy in bed and whatever. And it made me like really appreciate the simple life of just going to Steak and Shake and, you know, like all that. But when I look back on that road trip, when I look back on that first trip to Miami, we had wonderful moments. We went to a music festival, you know, we did this, we did that, we were on the beach every day. But one of my favorite memories is just eating a cheeseburger with my husband in that little Steak and Shake on the side of the road in this little small town in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. That's one of my favorite memories. And when I look, but I didn't get it at the time. It's now when I look back on that I realize that what I love so much about that was just that small moment, you know, and what I know is that the small moments are important. But I didn't know that, you know, then. I mean, then we had, you know, 8 hours ahead of us, 7 hours ahead of us still to drive. It was a long drive ahead of us. So when I got home later and like, you know, 2 or 3 days later, I was looking back, I was like, that was so much fun that night, you know? So, you know, as an analogy, I don't think sometimes that we really know the lesson we're supposed to learn until we've gone past the lesson and we've learned it. And I think it's hard sometimes, you know, because I think that we want to learn the lesson right then. If you're an addict or an alcoholic, I mean, we're impulsive people that want, you know, we want it now. And so, you know, sometimes that's not how the world works, you know, and it's kind of a recovery slogan, but, you know, like the world happens on God's time, not mine. And that's something that I've had to really learn lately, you know. The last couple years, like I'd say the last 5 or 10 years, I've really practiced that because that's not something I'm really good at. You know, sometimes I want this to happen now, or I'm like, you know, and I look at life and I think, okay, well, when is the lesson coming? Is the lesson ever coming? Was there a lesson to begin with? And then later down the road, I look back and I go, oh my God, that was the lesson, right? And at the time, I didn't even realize it. So it's about patience. It's about, you know, we're learning so much through the whole process of just waiting, you know? It's about patience. It's about trusting the process. It's about it being that the journey is the destination, you know? That you are learning many lessons, many, M-I-N-I, but also many, M-A-N-Y, lessons as you learn the greater lesson, if that makes sense. That, you know, there's a lot of different lessons along the way. And sometimes the lessons that we learned are not the lessons that we expected, if that makes sense, you know? It's like me in the last couple months, you know, really taking some time to myself, rebuilding my relationships with people in my personal life, you know, going to see that, getting, you know, like back to what like feels really good in my heart of hearts, has made me take a step back and look at those things in my life that I have not ever worked on and achieved. And out of that came this desire I was talking to the personal trainer today about this, you know, out of that came this desire for me to want to accomplish this goal of having the best body I've ever had in my life, because I've never had that before. That's been a goal on my goal list always. And there have been times in my life that I've ran every day and I worked out every day, but I've never had that. And so all of these other lessons that were occurring around me that I was learning, at the same time, time, they kind of all lined up for me to, the timing was right, like I was talking about the other day, the timing was right for me to sit there and then look at the lesson and go, you know what, I think it's time for me to take care of me, you know, and part of me taking care of me and me improving myself and being a better version of myself and wanting to improve in all areas of my life was also improving my physical health. And so that was another small lesson that came along with everything else. So I don't know that, you know, when the lesson's supposed to happen. I don't know. But I do know that when you feel like you just can't go on one more second, it's like, I just can't do this, home is probably right around the corner. The lesson is right there. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.